Good morning. My name's Emma. As Laura said, I'm the Membership and Young Adult Manager here at UUSF. And I just wanted to share, before we get into what cat, drool, and brambles means, I wanted to share what we've been doing here at UUSF to develop and grow our young adult community and some lessons that I've learned since I was welcomed into this role 2 years ago. A question that I usually ask people who are visiting for the first time is, what is it that you're hoping to find at UUSF? And I'd like everybody here to take some time now to think about this question for yourself. Maybe this is your first time visiting. If so, welcome. Maybe you've been coming for a while now, or you've been a member for decades. If so, welcome back. Whatever your history here, take a moment now to think about your reason for first coming through the front door or joining us on our live stream. So, by a show of hands, how many of you came here looking for community? Okay, yeah, quite a few. Seeking community is one of the top reasons that people give me when I ask that question. Although, of course, there are other things as well, such as spiritual growth or getting involved in social justice. But community is often the first thing mentioned. And I found that to be true across all age ranges, including our young adults. So why a 20s and 30s ministry then, if many of us are here looking for the same thing? And that's when you get into the reason as to why somebody is looking for community. The particular circumstances they're in, the challenges they might be facing. And that's where being in an affinity group, like the young adult group, or other groups here at UUSF, like the men's group, BIPOC group, or our newly reforming LGBTQI+ group, that can be really supportive and nourishing. The 20s and 30s ministry offers a way to be in community with our peers, to walk together in this journey of figuring out who we are and what we want to be at this stage in our lives. And because many UU congregations, including our own, are mostly made up of folks who are older, creating a dedicated space and programming for young adults to be in community together is really valuable. So while I also believe that intergenerational spaces like ours, where you get to be inspired by and hear new perspectives from people in all walks of life and different stages to you, from our youth to our elders, is really important and actually pretty rare. We all know that feeling of connecting with people who just get what it is that you're going through without having to explain. And that sense of belonging is what we all deserve and that we're striving to create here for people of all backgrounds. And when I first began in this role, I was lucky that UU San Francisco had already recognized the importance of investing in young adult programming before me. UUSF had a young adult coordinator, Joe Chapeau, shout out Joe, wherever you are, who had been coordinating the programming here. And this work meant that when I started, we had an incredible group of young adult leaders across the community on the board as worship associates, working on committees and engaged in lots of types of church life. But despite these successes, one thing I found looking at our data and talking to people was that we had a lot of young adults visiting us on Sundays, but not really engaging beyond a couple of their first visits. So we know that young adults are finding us and taking that often kind of scary step of walking through the doors for the first time, but maybe not finding what they're looking for. So our goal has been to give more diverse opportunities for young adults in which to build community. We continue to offer our popular monthly lunch outings, as well as additional social gatherings based on people's ideas, cultural events, hikes, volunteering opportunities, and helping our young adults in leading activities themselves, like the spooky Blood on the Clock Tower games that Maggie up in the choir has been leading for us. We also wanted to offer more opportunities for spiritual development and for spiritual practice. There are a lot of places in the city that you can go to look for community. We're very blessed here. But they come here, and that's because they're looking to have deeper, more meaningful connections and experiences than you might find at, say, joining a trivia night team. Although, if anyone here has joined a trivia team and they found real spiritual community, I'd love to hear more about it, so come talk to me afterwards. But we offer a spiritual discussion group twice a month that Viv is a part of and mentioned, which is a really small but tight-knit community of young adults where we kind of ponder the big questions, hold each other's joys and sorrows, and learn from each other. I know for myself and the other participants how much we get out of those conversations. So I warmly invite anybody here to join a session if you're interested. Rev Laura has also been offering classes based on what she's hearing from our young adults, from the Creating Your Own Theology class last year to monthly spiritual practice groups that she's currently leading. We're developing opportunities for the community to participate in that deeper, meaning-making work. Another big part of my role for young adults, as well as our other kind of newcomers, is simply looks like following up with people and checking in, inviting them to our programming warmly, letting people we haven't seen in a while know that we miss seeing them, and inviting them to an activity that they might enjoy. While there is a simple practicality to this, personal reminders can be helpful when our lives are so busy and we have so many obligations. But it's also more than that. It's an act that says, you're welcome here, you're valued, there is a place for you in this community if you want it. It's been really wonderful to see how the young adult community has grown and developed since I started here. I'm so proud of all the ways that young adults are shaping UUSF and leading change. One of the reasons we decided to offer the retreat was that we're going to talk about in this service was as a way to celebrate our thriving young adult community and to give young adults the time and space to deepen connections in a way that is so often not possible in the regular routines of our lives. And I feel like I've learned so much in this role, but there are two things that I did want to share with you today. Number one, this is kind of obvious, but bears repeating. Building community takes time and consistent effort and commitment. It takes time for new programming to build momentum. It takes time to experiment with different ways of doing things, seeing what works and what doesn't. And for those who are coming here and seeking community and belonging, know that this will take time and participation from you too. It takes time to make space in your life, to get involved, to make new routines, to find your place in our large community, and to get to know people. And at the end of the day, when we're developing community, we all need to move at the speed of trust. This is why having someone in a membership and young adult staff role is so important. It allows for that time and consistency to help people find the community that they are seeking. So thank you to everybody who has pledged and is planning to pledge to make my role and other staff roles possible. You truly are investing in young adults who are so in need of a faith community and who we need in our faith community as well. And finally, from my perspective, my personal experience, I've been involved in community building work for most of my adulthood, working with migrant women in mutual aid and environmental justice. But this is the first time that I've ever been involved in a spiritual community, and they hired me. How welcoming is that, right? But I found it to be such a gift. Since working here, I myself have developed spiritual practices that I never would have done otherwise, such as daily meditation and journaling. I get to have incredibly meaningful conversations about life's big questions on a regular basis. I get to hear the wisdom from our diverse community. I can better understand myself and others, and I've really learned about the power of the promises that we make to each other in community, and what happens when we stick to our values when it gets hard and when conflict happens. I've really learned how nourishing it is to be in faith community. So I want to encourage others who are new here, who are thinking about getting involved or who've been on the periphery, to give it a try and give it some time. Come to an event, speak with a minister, Speak with a lay leader, a member, a young person, one of the kids here. Try out a new group. See what happens when you regularly make time to come to service, or even listen to the service on our podcast or live stream if you can't wake up that early on Sundays. Lean in and make time. You might be surprised by how much it will change your life.